Hello and welcome to my video. Today we're going to be talking about keybinding in World of Warcraft. First of all, I can't stress enough how important keybinding is. It's one of the longest jokes in the game that people who don't keybind are clickers and clickers suck. That's the longest joke in the game I can think of. And it's true. Not keybinding and clicking your abilities is absolutely detrimental to your performance, especially in PvP. It causes you to be sluggish, you can't focus on movement as well, and you always run the risk of clicking the wrong button or accidentally dragging a button off your bar, and just a whole bunch of stuff is sloppy. You do not want to be a clicker. So today I'm going to make sure that you never have to click again. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you ring that bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. So in order to access the Keybinds panel, what you do is you hit escape and then you go to the Keybinds button right here. Once you click that, it'll bring up your keybind settings and you'll see a list over here of all kinds of different actions. So I'm going to do, let's see, turn right and turn left right here. By default, they're bound to A and D, and basically what turn left and turn right does is it makes your character spin. So spinny, spinny, spin. This is called keyboard turning, and it is really, really bad. It is so bad. You have so little control this way. It's not good. Strafing is the best way to do it. Pretty much everyone I know unbinds turn left and turn right. So let's go ahead and put it to what I like. So I go down here to strafe left and strafe right, and I click on the button that it is right now, Q, and I press A on my keyboard. That's it. Now it is bound to A. Strafe left is A, and strafe right is now D. That's how you keybind. So now let's talk about how I keybind while I go through and fix this mess. Before we hop into it, I do want to say that it's important that you don't copy me. There's nothing wrong with it, but it will not help you as much as you might think. Now, if you have no keybinds whatsoever, if you're starting at 0 and you just need something to get you started, then maybe it won't be a bad idea. You'll have to make that decision for yourself. However, generally, if you already have a system going, it's better to try and improve that system and take inspiration from how I keybind and how I kind of structure my system of how I do things. Take inspiration from that and apply it to your own system. Grow it, make it evolve. That's the best thing you can do. Let's go ahead and start doing this now that you've kind of got an idea of what I'm talking about, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So 1 through 6 right here on action bar number 1. If we click that, that is all of these buttons down here on this main action bar. So I can only reach up to button number 6 on my keyboard. I kind of a fairly small hand. So I bind up to 6, and after that I do a squiggly. It's the button right next to the 1 key. And it's an easy button to hit. You don't use it for anything else, or at least I don't. And it's a good place for me to put like my essences or a odd or end ability that isn't a part of my main rotation but kind of needs to go in the main rotation. So for the mouse button 8, I do shift 1, then I do shift 2, 3, 4, 5, and then after that I leave that bar alone. That is every button on that bar. So the reason I do this is because it allows me to save 5 keybinds on my keyboard and fit 5 more buttons onto my actual keybinds. And using modifiers like shift, control, or alt is not for everybody. I know that. But if you can use them, whatever one is easiest for you to hit. A lot of people like alt because they can just hit it with their thumb. They can just take it right to the space bar. Whatever works for you. For me, shift is the best. I always have my pinky there so I can crouch in shooting games. So it's just natural to always be able to hit shift. And so I do that. And what I'll usually put on shift 1 through 5 is I'll put items. So I'll put my cloak or a speed boost potion or my drums, or I'll put really long, really precious cooldowns like my hero on my shaman, for example, or time warp on a mage. Then from there, I leave everything else here the same, and I go over to the multi-action bar. So in the multi-action bar, this first spot here starts with this first spot on your bar above your main bar. For me, this button starts with Q. So Q on every single character for me is always my slow. If the character, so for a DK, that's like Chains of Ice. For a character that doesn't have a slow, then I'll oftentimes put a stun here. And that works pretty good for me too. That way I always know that whatever class I'm on, this button stops people. That's what's important to me, is it stops people. Next to it, I always do E. E is my ability that either takes me to or pulls an enemy to me. So that's like Charge, that's like Feral Lunge, that's like Death Grip, that's like Life Grip, all that kind of stuff. Oh, and on Q, on my healers, that's always my Dispel. By the way, my Cleanse. I'm sorry, I know that's a little late. Anyways, after E is R, this is always my PvP trinket. After R is T, that's always my racial. After T is F, that is always my interrupt. After F is G, that is always my taunt. If a character doesn't have taunt, then I'll often put, they're usually casters if they don't have a taunt, so I'll oftentimes put like my water there, my drink, to get more mana back. After G, then it's Z, X, and C, and all three of those buttons are for my offensive cooldowns. It just period. It's just the best place I've found to put them. After Z, X, and C comes some fun binds. It's my mouse wheel up. Then after that, my mouse wheel pushed down, like clicking the mouse wheel. And then below that is mouse wheel down. And I know that for some people, this is not gonna be bueno. For other people, you're gonna like it like me. I like it a lot. This is where I would usually put abilities that increase my movement speed. So Dash goes here. Astral Walker, whatever, the Shaman one, goes here. I'll also put odd and end utility abilities here too. So like on a Shaman, I always put my Earthbind and my Capacitor Totem here. They're just easy abilities that I'm usually using on the move, and that's the main thing, is like placeable abilities I'm using on the move I like to put there. Heroic Leap is a good example of that. Now going over to the bar beside it, these two bars actually here, it starts with this bottom button here. So it's designed in the layout it is because this is kind of like one bar broken into two halves, and the reason they do that is for 12 button gaming mice. So I have this one here, is the Corsair Scimitar. I highly recommend it. Basically, I've been using one since 2012, like gaming mice like this with 12 plus buttons. And it's really common to find these in World of Warcraft if you don't know already. But anyways, so I do mouse button 1 here, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, all the way down. All right, and now that we have those bound, this is the way that I kind of bind them. So 1 through 3 is always my CC abilities. If it's not CC abilities, like if the class doesn't have enough, like doesn't have 3 separate CC abilities, which plenty don't, then I'll oftentimes do like 1 and 3 is a CC, and then 2 is like a placeable action, like Ring of Peace or D&D, Death and Decay. 4, 5, and 6 are always my defensive cooldowns or my main heal. So if I'm playing a hybrid and I have a heal that I have fairly easy access to, then 5 will oftentimes take that place. But those are always defensive abilities for me. 7, 8, and 9 are pretty much just random class utility buttons. On my DK, for example, this is stuff like Army of the Dead, Raise Ally, and Summon, or not Summon Ghoul, and Control Undead. It's just random stuff. I really rarely ever use that stuff, but when I do use it, I need to use it then. I need to have easy access to it. So 7, 8, and 9 is just kind of a natural place for me to put that stuff. Then on the final buttons, which is bound as 0, plus, and minus, but it's actually 10, 11, and 12 on my mouse, this is where I'll put my healing potions. And this is just where I've always put my healing potions and my health stones, and it just keeps it all straight in my head whenever I'm swapping characters. So over on the right action bars, I come up here and I start off with F2 and F4, and I come down to this bar down here, which is the bar right beside that one, and I hit F1 and F3. So now, as you can see, I have F1, F2, F3, and F4. So I like to have these abilities there. I will put stuff like my druid forms on them. I will put movement speed increasing abilities on them. I'll put odds and ends on them, just kind of whatever. If I'm playing healers, and I do like to actually like make macros, or you can bind them to it in the target. In targeting right here, you can bind it this way. But since I have the buttons down for some of my classes, I don't want character specific keybinds, so I just make macros for targeting. So for F1 through F4, I like to target my party members this way. So F1 will be target party member 1, F2 will be target party member number 2, F3 will be target party member number 3, and 4 will be target myself. So this allows me to just scroll through my 3 allies if I have them, and then myself, and that makes targeting a whole lot easier. Now, if we come down here to here, then this is where I like to put my mounts on all my characters. So I do page up and page down. That puts it over here on the furthermost right bar. And as page up and page down, I don't actually hit page up, page down on my keyboard. Those are 2 buttons on the very top of my mouse. And so I do those 2 there, and that is usually for my ground mount, and then for my fishing ability. And then over here, I do shift page up for my flying mount and shift page down for my repair mount, like my mammoth. So let me fix this real quick, and let me show you one other thing. So I rebound my mouse wheel buttons, and that means I can't zoom in or zoom out on my character right now. So what I do is I come over to the camera options and key bindings, and I find zoom in and zoom out, and I do shift mouse wheel up and shift mouse wheel down. So now I can zoom in and out all I want. That is how I bind all of my action bars, and kind of the system and the thoughts that I have and how I do it, so that it all kind of makes sense to me. So now I can do everything. I strafe, I zoom in and zoom out. All of my buttons are fixed and back to where I left them, and we are good to go. That's it. That's how I bind my character. I hope this video helped you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please hit that like button. It helps tremendously the algorithm. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and you ring that bell notification button so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, please check out my Twitter account. Follow it. I talk about the game, I ask questions about the game, I complain about the game, I post the occasional meme, and I also let you guys know when I go live on Twitch, which is also in the description down below. So anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned a lot, and I will catch you later.